Well, hello, welcome to Jamie TV. Thank you for joining the live stream again. I've done a couple of things. Since yesterday's stream. I'll go over those in just a moment. But here's a thing. I've just before I start the stream, I thought, well, I'll just mix things a little bit so that I can open the stream with the track as it is so far playing, so that the mix just sounds reasonably okay. It's not a mix as such, but it sounded fine, right? And I just started it for the beginning of the stream, so I like to open it up so that just at the beginning of the stream you get a reminder of where we're at, what we've done so far, and there's a few things not playing at all correctly. A couple of things missing, and I'll show you what I mean first, and then we'll see if we can correct it. So I'm just gonna go to this screen here, so you can see what's going on my iPad. And where's my mouse? Do you know what? I've not even switched my mouse on. Semi-Pro. And now my mouse has decided that it wants to operate the old iPad. So I'll just switch Bluetooth off on there, and then it should jump across onto my new iPad. Now, there we go. Right. Okay, so here are the things that are not working. I wasn't hearing the melody line from King of FM. Has that plugin crashed? I see. The plugin has crashed. King of FM has died on me. So that would explain that one. And noises, I wasn't hearing noises at all. I've got noises just making some atmospheric sound at the beginning. That didn't do anything, although as I have said in previous streams, I have noticed with noises that if you don't launch it before you play the track for the first time, sometimes it just doesn't do anything. If you launch it and then play the track, then it'll work fine for the rest of your session. And sometimes it just works fine straight away anyway. I'm not sure what that's about, but let's see if we can correct that problem immediately. So I will just go to noises and we'll open it, and then let's just press play and see if it works. It would seem to be, yeah. Okay, so that's cured that problem. The other thing was that Phase Monkey sounded all messed up, and Blipbox sounded wrong. Now, I had some problems with Phase Monkey yesterday, but I wasn't able to get to the bottom of it. But this morning I've had a look at it, and it seems the problem was not Phase Monkey at all. The problem was, in fact, with AB Pitch Pad X. Now, the problem I discovered yesterday, I was trying to play a little bit of guitar along to this middle section where it goes all miserable and weird and slow, and I wasn't able to play in tune to it because it wasn't playing the same chords that I put in, and I couldn't understand why the pitch was wrong. The reason the pitch was wrong was very simple. What I'd done was I had accidentally caught this control here at some point. So I'd pulled the tension down somewhat, and that, well, basically whatever instrument you've got this plug-in on, it makes it sound out of tune. So that was that. But Now it's still not sounding right, and Blipbox is not playing the fart noises, it's playing incorrect sounds. Let's just play that bit again. Right, that's not the sounds that we had. And that's certainly not the sounds that we had. That's not right. So, before I start diving in and trying to fix all that stuff, I'm just going to come out of my project. And we will just simply relaunch it and see if that fixes it. You never know. That might be all I need to do. King of FM is not available on your iPad. Install this missing audio unit extension to continue using it in your song. Why would King of FM not be available on my iPad? What's that about? I've got King of FM. That doesn't make any sense. Let me see now. Hang on a moment. Let me just go to this folder over here. This is where I keep apps that I'm currently sort of testing, things like betas and apps that I'm going to include in streams or make videos of. I keep them there so that I have a folder that reminds me of things that I need to make videos about, because I've been sent them, and if a developer sends me something, I want to give something back and include them in a video. Let's have a look at the chat. King of FM was updated this morning. Oh, I wonder if that's the problem. Maybe I need to update it. Let's see now. King of FM. There we are. It's not saying I need an update. Maybe I just need to open it again. Maybe because it's been I've got my update set to automatic, not for iOS, but for apps. So it's probably, update 13 hours ago. So I'll have got the update. So we'll try opening that again. So let's just have a look at the chat and say hello to some people, see what people are rattling on about. We've got, let's see now. Oh, we've got Kiona. Hi, thanks for joining us, sweetheart. And Mateus is here, and Bo is here. Who does my thumbnail graphics? They're always pretty accomplished. Well, actually, Bo, what I'm doing is I'm using AI. A while ago, Jade drew my attention to Midjourney, and I used Midjourney, the free version, for a little while. I got some art that served me well for quite a few things I've released or covers for videos and things like that. And then I sort of run out, and I've been having a look at a few other AI platforms. I've not found one that I like as much, but I can't do any more on Midjourney without paying for it, if I'm honest. And money's a bit tight at the moment, but when I sort that out, then I will probably subscribe to Midjourney because it's the best one I've found. But basically, if you're using some AI art generator, if you one of the cheaper, not quite so good freebie ones, then if you just kind of keep putting the typing in what you want, then eventually you get something close. So I've got kind of hundreds and hundreds of images, and a few of them are good. You just kind of have to keep experimenting, typing things in, and eventually you get there. The thing about AI, though, is it's unable to draw hands well. So it took me quite a while to get images of, there's a girl on today's one, right, with a guitar, and her hands were a complete mess. So I put more guitars over her hands so you couldn't see. And the robot one actually came out okay, but obviously robot hands don't have to look human, right? So, but that one on yesterday's one, that came out pretty well. Who else is here? Mike's here. Hi, Mike. Mike says, "What does your shirt say?" Oh, well, it says, "Don't pissy pants about." Now, this is from my official merch from Bandcamp. I also have some other official merch in another shop, which you can find a link to on my website. The merch is dropshipping merch, so I'm unable to do it particularly cheap. It does work out a bit expensive, and I only make a right little bit on top, if I'm honest. If anybody wants to contribute to the channel, if anybody ever wanted to make some contribution to assist me with what I do here, then the best way is to join my Patreon, because it's very, very cheap, and there I'm able to give a lot back. I'm giving some codes away for AB Pitchpad X. At the moment, I've given most of them away. I do have a couple left, and I'm giving them away exclusively to patrons. So if you are one of my patrons and you've not told me that you want a code, then get on my Patreon account and just tell me in the comments that you want a code. Or if you were kind of, a bit like that about whether you wanted to join it or not, then maybe just join and you can get yourself a free code. But crack on, because I've only got a couple left. Right, King of FM was updated this morning. I've read that. And Matteo says, "I've had some issues with some AV3s in Logic Pro. The most painful is Rhino. It always says it's not on my iPad. Works well on GarageBand." Okay, well, other than King of FM, the only thing I've had a problem with this morning is ToneX. It says in the title to this video that I'm going to feature some Nembrini apps and Rhino and ToneX. I put those because those are the guitar apps that I'm most likely to use for the kinds of sounds that I want for this track. The Nembrini ones are working absolutely fine in Logic Pro so far. I've had no issues with Nembrini. I've not really used Rhino a lot in Logic Pro, but my intention is to do so for this track. But ToneX this morning, I had a quick play along with what I've done so far, and I thought, well, I'll use ToneX for that, and I just couldn't get it to work at all. It just keeps on crashing. It just sort of closes itself. It just pisses off. It's like it don't want to play with me, So I don't know. So it looks like I won't be using ToneX. Hi Grant, thanks for joining us, and the truth about unicorns. Thanks for being here. ToneX is dead on Logic Pro. If you use mono input, Jay reported it already. I need to rewatch and get the names of the AI image generators you are using. Didn't fix it since Logic came out, unfortunately. Right, okay. So the AI image generators I am using. Okay. What am I using? Right, yeah. There's if you use DistroKid to release your music, they have a free one called DistroPick. So if you use DistroKid, you can sign into DistroPick, and it's not bad. It don't cost you any extra money, so you can't really complain. It's not as good as Midjourney so far, but I've had some pretty good images from it, so I can't complain about it. And there's another one I have used that I cannot remember the name of. I wonder if I still have that in my Chrome browser. Oh, yeah, here we are. This one, you can see there, look, where I got the guitar player image for yesterday's stream. Hotpot.ai. hotpot.ai. And just type that in and it'll take you there. There is one other that I used, but to be honest, it was pants, so I'll not even bother trying to remember what it was called. Right, so next thing. What we'll do then is we'll go through things one at a time here. From the beginning of the track, and let's just see if we can get everything working. Now, noises will not kick in because I've not opened it. Right. So let's... Oh, hang on. Have I got things turned down here? What's going on? Right. I'll go to... Use your mouse, you stupid hippie. Noises. Open. Return to beginning of track. Play. And noises should kick in. There we go. Right, so here, snare synth is working. King of Bass is not working properly either. I mean, all the problems this morning. Okay. Right. We'll start at the top. King of FM. Right, so if I hold on it and go to replace, and then we'll type in King of FM. King of FM is greyed out in the list. Why would it be greyed out in the list? Okay, well let's do it the proper way then. We'll go to the full menu, which I hate doing. So we want audio kit, and King of FM is not listed. I've had another thought. Wait a minute. Right, so if I just go to where I keep my synths, I'm actually not seeing King of FM. And I don't think it's in this folder here either. Maybe it has disappeared. Oh no, it's there. Right, let's open it here. Okay, so I do have King of FM and it is working. But Logic Pro has fallen out with it. Right, let's just come out of Logic Pro altogether. And let's just restart it. If it doesn't work, I'll just have to leave it for now. It's obviously something that shouldn't be a big deal to fix in the long term, and I don't want it to hold up the stream forever. Right, King of FM, loading. Ah, and there it is. Right, okay, so now I've closed Logic Pro, so I'm going to need to open noises again. There we go. Open noises. Now, let's see if it works this time. Okay, that all sounds as it should, except for King of Bass is not doing what it should be doing. Let's solo King of Bass. What's that about? That's not what you should be doing. That's not the preset. Right, hang on. Did I save a preset for this? Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. So what was it? I have absolutely no idea what it was. Well, I can find out what it was and reset that from... I'll just look at one of my old streams from when I was setting that sound up, and we'll fix that way. That's only for the introduction, so that's not a massive big deal, so I'll leave that as it is for now. Right, now, let's go to the middle bit and see if that's corrected itself. Okay. So if I switch off AB pitch pad, then Phase Monkey sounds fine. But then I'm not going to get that raising pitch thing that I spent, an hour and a half on the other day. In yesterday morning's stream, actually. Right, let's open that up. Everything is set here as it should be set. I wonder why that keeps doing that. Oh. And now it's okay. So let's see if it does the pitch thing correctly at the end. And it didn't read the automation, and it didn't do the pitch thing. But it stopped screwing up the sound. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to think on that one, because I can still crack on with recording the guitar parts and everything that I want to do on that section if I just switch off that. I did have that switched on, didn't I? Yeah, it is. It's switched on. And it's set to read. And let's just have a look at that automation here. AB pitch pad. What? AB pitch pad? Yeah. The automation's disappeared. Well, what's that about? It's just vanished. Well, I don't know what to think about that. Why would my automation just disappear from the project? That's insane. I could put it back in now, I suppose, but you've already seen me do that. You don't want to see me do that again in the stream again. So I'm going to leave that. I'll fix that in my own time. And then the problem with Blipbox. Now I wonder if these issues are being caused by a logic problem or a problem with the apps themselves. You have to remember that Blipbox and AB pitch pad are new. Let's just have a look at Blipbox. Right, now that's not even the right preset, so that might explain that. Let's go to Jamie's effects. And then we'll go back here and have a listen. Right, it should be playing this farty sound and then this sound, and it isn't. I wonder. I wonder. I set something in here. A different root note. I wonder if that's moved. I changed the root note so that it would work with the Sonido tempo pad, and that seems to have defaulted back to default settings. There we are. Now I've changed it and that's fixed that. It could be, Kinora, it could be that there's been an update to the apps, and that's completely screwed up the beginning of my stream. How dare they? Do they not know who I am? Oh, hi, Pete. Thanks for joining us, man. The almighty Mr. Pete Johns is here. Everybody say hello to Pete in the chat. So I guess I'm going to leave the problems here with PitchPad, and I'll just fix that in my own time. And we'll crack on with having a look at these guitars. So yesterday I recorded. I recorded for this section here. I recorded like a chunky rhythm guitar part and an arpeggio bit. And then for this next section here, I kind of did the same thing on the rhythm track. Different rhythm, obviously, but kind of following on. And then I recorded the octave thing. Now, and I recorded a solo as well. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, what I've done is for the first section, this rhythm part, I've redone it because it was a little bit sloppy, I felt. Did that this morning, and then I played it again for the other side of the stereo picture. So I've panned them hard left and hard right, and then the arpeggio thing, I did the same thing with that. Kept what I played yesterday, but I played it in again for the other side of the stereo picture. Then the octave thing, kept what I did yesterday, did another one for the other side. And this here, you'll see this is separate. This is the rhythm part that I played for this section yesterday, and I've decided that it sucks. It doesn't really fit with the drums. So it's separated out so that I can show you that. So let's go through what we've got going on here. First of all, I'll just solo these two guitars. Now, the sound is not going to be, that's not the sound I'm going to end up with. As I explained yesterday, I don't worry about sounds so much while I'm recording stuff. I just use a sound, and then, later on, I'll go into more depth, kind of looking for the right sounds for the track. Because how do you know? What's the point of spending, hours working on sounds when you're just working on the parts for the track? When you start to hear the mix in full, then is the time to start working on the actual sounds, really. So, as you can hear, I've got one hard left and one hard right, and together it sounds pretty massive. Now, what I've done is, I play guitar and bass guitar for a living, so I play to a reasonable standard. What I could do when I'm recording is I could go through every riff, every chord, one at a time, or just play a couple of bars and just kind of nail it down and get it absolutely perfect and robotic. That's not for me. I ain't got that long to live. So what I do is I just do a take, and I do a take, and I do a take until I've got a really good take. But it's still going to sound human. And then what happens is, when I do another take for the other side of the stereo picture, I'm human, so it won't be played exactly the same. That pick is never going to hit those strings exactly the same every time. And those little human qualities are what makes it sound really, really big with just two guitars. If you duplicate one guitar and send it to the other side, it doesn't sound anything like, not anywhere near as full. If you use a stereo widener, if you like, put it in the middle of your picture and widen it out, you get a thin sound at each side. Some wideners are better than others, but play it twice. Because the time that you'll spend piss-panting around with technology trying to make it sound like two guitars, you might as well just play it twice. Right? Now, I've done the same thing with the arpeggios. Let's have a listen to those in stereo. Right, and then the octave thing. Right, now this is the bit up here that I don't like. Let me just play this solo for you. This is the bit that's pants. Now I'm going to show you why it's pants. Because if I play it alongside the octave thing, it sounds fine. Let me play it against the drums for you. Hang on. To play the drums, I need to go to my desk because I'm using the multi-out from Drum 80, which is awesome. It's like my favorite thing that's happened on iOS for ages. Drum 80 being multi-out. Here we go. Why did I not notice what a bad fit that was yesterday? It does not sit with the drums at all. So the first thing I'm going to do today is replace that. So you know what? Let's just delete that right now because it sucks. Okay. Let's just take that solo off there. Right. Then we've got the lead guitar. Right, now, the thing I was just thinking is, what if after, like, halfway through the solo, I do this fast tremolo picking thing? Whereabouts is that? It should be about there, I think. So after that, what if for the second half, then a harmony guitar kicked in? That might be quite immense. So I might try that today. Although figuring out harmonies for guitar live could be a little bit terrifying. Can you solo 14 and 15 with the drums? Yes, I can. So you want to hear these two octave parts with the drums? I can do that for you. That's no problem. So that's that one and that one. seems to me like when I played that part, I was feeling the drums, but obviously it wasn't when I played the other bit in. Right, so we're going to replace that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mute. Let's see, I need to play on that track, so I'm going to mute the octave guitars. Now this track here, I believe I can mute that one. I can get rid of that one now. Let's get rid of that track. Okay, keep things nice and neat. Yeah, there was definitely a timing issue with the part I deleted. I thought when I listened to it this morning, I thought my timing is terrible. Then I soloed it against the drums, and I found actually it's not the timing that's terrible. It's because I put it on against the metronome, and the timing was pretty close. It just didn't fit against the drums. So where you're hearing the drums really sort of accenting particular beats, I feel like the guitar needs to be on those, it needs to be on top of that and complement that. And also, I was playing pretty solid behind this octave part, it's very busy. It's sort of, when you play that style, you sort of have to keep going. And I think that it could be a little bit more, there could be a bit more space in the other part. I think it would help it to be heard. So, I'm going to get a guitar, check my tuning, and let's have a look at this bit. So, I need to arm this track. Probably going to need it a bit louder than that, I think. Just give myself a little boost on that side. And actually what I ought to do is just select there so you can see me playing the guitar. Right? That camera could do it coming down a bit, but I can't be arsed. Right, let me set up a loop around this bit so I can kind of go over it a few times and find something better to play. I did like some of the step down and up track 11 had that complemented the notes in what 14 and quite was quite nice. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a mile away from the right idea, I don't think. It just wasn't quite bob on. Right, I've got my Darth Vader book out, which will remind me of the chords for this section. I'm trying to show you without dropping my guitar. Yeah, okay. Good job, Jamie. Right. Next bit, let's see. We've got a D. And a B, and a C, and then a D. I think I remember. Okay. Check tuning. It's very... it's good to be in tune. And it's amazing having a tuner built into a door. I love it. Okay, right. Let's have a little play. I think something like that. Just leaving those slight gaps at the end of each phrase. Sometimes a gap is exactly what you need to make a part stand out in the track, because, you know, taking it away for a moment makes it more obvious when it reappears. I think I could have said that better, but I think you know what I mean. Okay, a little bit of a headphone / guitar strap entanglement thing going on. That's better. Right, I'm going to see if I can record this. Now, in Logic Pro, what I quite like is the way that I've got my counting and everything set up, which you do up in the settings up here. I'll take the loop off. Right, if I just put my thingy, my playhead just there, then I press record, what it'll do is it'll take me back a bar, give me a count in, and not start recording until just there, which I kind of dig. Just get comfortable. Yeah. Well, the fart noise is back, thankfully. Right, now I just need to replicate that on the other side. Now what I've found is if I'm duplicating a track, then what works for me is to leave the one that I just played in, but have it not very loud at all. So I'm just going to play. If I put my loop on, yeah. Okay, then I'll do the duplicate one for the other side of the stereo picture. That takes me back to the right place. Take the loop off. If I don't take the loop off, it will be the end of the world when I get to the end of that section, and then it takes me back to the beginning of it. And I will swear. What I want is, at the end, I want a kind of a bit of a tail off the last chord. I think that will be nice going into the next section where things get a bit strange. Okay, now with the two in the mix, bring the octaves back in. Okay, right. And there's one thing to consider here, which is that the solo ends here. Well, it's not really solo, it's more of a guitar melody. But that ends here. I'm just wondering whether this new section might sound a little bit empty. But as we get further on into the track, then we'll decide. We'll find out. I mean, if it sounds like there needs to be more melody happening over this section, because yesterday when I did the octave thing, I realised that it's its own melody. But I might introduce a simple synth lead there or something like that. We'll see. It doesn't need to be like all guitars. Definitely want plenty of synth stuff going on. Right. So now I need some guitar for this middle section, but I also had the idea about maybe doing a harmony, which I might just have a little pissy pants around with now. Not always the easiest thing to do on the fly, but if I had a loop from where that tremolo picking is, so from there I think to here. Right, so remind myself how the solo goes. Is that right? Right, let's look at that bit first. Now, where's my scale? Hang on. Magic note. One, two, three. Okay. We'll try a third. When I do harmony stuff, I don't necessarily sort of like work out an exact third of every note, or an exact fifth of every note, but sort of around that area, really. I mean, I just kind of think like when you're working on harmonies, if it sounds good, it's good. So that would be. And then oh, hang on. And then the next bit for that one I'm going to try it. If it's horrendous, just have a good laugh at me. I don't care. Now hang on, I might need to arm a suitable track before I do that. Hang on. And that one might be a bit loud. Let's just figure that out first. Right, okay, that'll be better. that could work if I do the bending tune. Am I playing that phrasing right? Let me just listen to that. I need to get a slide into the second phrase. Right, okay. Right, where the hell is that? Where the hell is the harmony for... Hey, Jade's here. Jade, I'm doing a really, really stupid thing, and everything's going wrong today. King of FM has disappeared from my iPad, and then reappeared after a little bit of encouragement. Blipbox reset itself, but we've cured that now. And AB Pitchpad is kind of acting a bit strangely. So, but we'll get past it. We'll live. And now I'm doing the very stupid and overly brave thing of trying to work out a guitar harmony live. So I think I've got the first half. Right, so where would that be? Right, so where would those two notes be? Is that right? Is that right now? It is. Oh, I don't know about that. You know what? I've got the first half of this down. So maybe it was sensible to put the first half down. And then I'll worry about the second bit after. Right? Sensible decisions. I feel like my brain has melted, spending the evening learning no input mixer for tomorrow's show. Yeah, you know what, Jade? I watched Doug's stream on that whilst I was getting some bits done last night. So I did some lessons last night, and then I finished just in time actually for Doug's stream, premiere. And so I put it on while I was sending tabs to my students and fretboard diagrams and all that stuff. And also did the advertising for this stream. And it looked like a monumental learning curve. It also looked like a right lot of fun. It looked really, really good. But I've got so many apps I need to demonstrate at the moment, and some gear stuff as well. I thought I might just give that one a miss. You know, I don't know when I've got time to do that one. So, yes, right. So, put down the first bit. So that went what? That went, no, slide. Hang on a minute. Is that right? It's not right. It's not right. Because when I do that, I'm playing the same part as the other. That's not a harmony. So that would be... there. So I should be going. That's going to be difficult. I think that's what I should be doing. Yeah, right. That's right, isn't it? So, yeah, okay. Me being all confident that I've got the first bit sorted when I'm actually playing it completely wrong. Like a pleb. Like a stupid old hippie. Right. Okay. Right, okay. Is that any good? The timing's not good on that last phrase. I'll show you why it's not good. Is because I've got to get from here to there. I guess I can do it. But it's just that it's like an unavoidable... There's going to be an unavoidable gap because I do have to change my hand position completely. But, you know, I'm sure I can do it better than I just did. Try pressing the correct button, hippie. I think that was better. We're going to find out that the first stuff wasn't as good now, aren't we? It's usually the way. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm relatively pleased with myself. It's just that this next bit, it's just the position it's in. It's kind of hard to work out where this bit of the harmony is going to be. So if I change my loop now to start a bar before this bit comes in, maybe? I think that's there. Right, okay, so what do I play just there? Right, okay. So, so that note is There. And that note will be there. Right. Could it be in any more of an awkward position? I wonder. It's just not possible to get my finger on the next note. Okay, maybe I could bend it with my second finger. Right, so that's bending to that pitch. Don't overbend. See, I'm used to playing in E flat all the time. I'm in standard at the moment, you know, so I'm overcompensating by pushing too hard. I'm going a little sharp on a few notes. Right, now the next note would be so. It's there, right. Let's see if that works. The funny thing is, sometimes when you're working on harmonies, when you're working on them individually, they sound like they're... No, there's no way that's going to work. I'm just going to do that again. Right, I'm going to put that phrase in because that is hard enough on its own. Right, now I just want to drop this. We'll take snap to bar off and just drop this back here. I want it to drop me in from about there. Right, I'll take my loop off. Try and remember what I'm supposed to play. And try not to suck my signal. I don't think that was the best execution. No, plus we need a slide into that first note. Oh. Well, at least it did undo properly. Right. Which it doesn't always. Right, I want dropping in. Actually, I'm going to give that a little bit more space there. Drop in from here. Right. So I need to slide into that first note. Okay, I can do it. My timing was better. Yeah, my timing was better, but it wasn't very smooth. Okay, I'm close. I've done it again. How do you make such a grievous error and then just do it again? And again, apparently. Okay. Right. Right. This time, I'm going to nail it. Okay, if the bend was okay, I think the timing was good. All right, let's just listen to it so far. Right, okay. Okay. The timing is not absolutely perfect, but I think it's close enough. I mean, I could always move a note. I like to, do things as close as possible without resorting to too much sort of editing, but it's pretty close, and it is pretty hard, I have to say. It's just because the phrase that I played, right, that's easy enough to play the harmony a third up. But then what it means is that in this area of the guitar where the frets are really close together, I've got to get my second finger and bend a tone in a place I wouldn't really normally be playing, and I wouldn't normally be bending with that finger. It's obviously a weakness in my skills that I ought to look at. Okay, so this last bit then. So that is actually no, what am I playing there? All right, okay. So all right, okay. All right. Now let's listen to this solo all the way through with the harmony at the end. What I should have done is let that last note sustain, because the other one does. My idea was that note would fade out into the next bit. I can't have the last harmony note just cutting off quickly. Actually, that last note. Let's try a different last note anyway. So that would go. Right, I want to drop it in here. Right. Let me just turn this harmony volume back up. Right, that note sounds better, and I played the thing better, but you know what I did? I failed to sustain the note still. Right. I think what's happening is that the noise gate in Rhino is cutting me off, and it's making me think that I've lost the note. Right, yeah, okay. So I'm going to switch it off for that bit. Oh, do you know? I don't believe it. I did it again. Right, so that's going to be. Right. Okay. Yeah, my phrasing's wrong, isn't it? Let me just list the phrasing of the main lead. Right, okay. All right, okay. That section there wants some more. It wants more. in the drums, it wants, I think, toms. I tend to overuse toms. Maybe I should try using something else. Maybe, because what I'm referring to is this drum section has already happened once, right? So these drums here that I'm talking about happen here in the beginning of the track. No, here. And in this section, because the song is lighter at the beginning, there's no guitars yet, and I like that. Sounds great. But under all these guitars, it needs to have more. But I'm wondering, because I'm using so many toms in the rest of the song, I wonder if just here, maybe I could use a hand clapper. Because where that cowbell is, it's that's not cutting through. Works great the first time around, but add to the cowbell some hand claps, which could be quite loud. Stick loads of 80s gated reverb on it. You know, if you've not seen my video about how to get 80s gated reverb in Logic Pro, watch it, because it's only a minute long, and it's actually easy. So right, okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I think that's pretty that's kind of what I wanted. So let's move over to this middle section, the ill-fated middle section. Oh, and before let me just, we'll bring the gate back in now in Rhino. This is just, it's such an awesome app, and I find, right, this app, it's got, you can do all kinds of sounds with it. You can do really subtle, nice, clean sounds with it if you make the effort, right? But it's got like a real bite, a real edge. It's sort of, you can use, like, let's say if you use like a Marshall type sound with a Nembrini app or something like that, and then for another one of your guitar sounds, use Rhino. It really cuts, you know, because the Marshall's a little bit warmer, it's a little bit sort of rounder, so you need to contrast that. And Rhino is just perfect. You just get a great metal guitar sound with it without even trying. Right, so the ill-fated middle fart section. I can't leave that sound in now, can I? Right. Do I have my own presets for Rhino? Yes, I do. I do actually. I made some presets for Rhino, which I believe I sent to Aurora. Actually, let me just check. So if I go, I was just going to say we're just going to have to leave AB pitch pad off whilst I work on this section, because it seems like there's something not quite right. It might just be the amount of processing power it takes up. So I might just kind of leave it off, and then when I'm mixing, we get towards the end, and I've kind of I've turned a lot of the apps into just real audio, so that we're not using so much CPU. Then just switch it back on, and just make a hard copy version of that, and then it's done with. Rhino. Yes. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing. It happens a lot at my age now. You know the thing, like where you go upstairs and you walk into a room and then start to wonder what you went there for? Happens to me all the time. Right. Okay. So I have got some presets. And not as many as I thought, actually. But I've got some presets in Rhino. I'll tell you why there's not as many there as I thought there was. Because I made them on the desktop and sent them to Aurora DSP. And I did ask them if there was a way that I could share my presets from the iOS version as well. And I believe the answer was no. But what I did do was on Patreon, in the folder with all the presets and everything, I believe I shared a Cubasis 3 saved version. So whilst you can't share that, you can save the preset in Cubasis 3, and that's very easy to share. Of course, that doesn't help in Logic Pro. And I don't think there's a way in Logic Pro. You know, like in Logic Pro, you can save your preset for the app. But I don't think you can share from that folder. I don't think that's a thing. Please tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. I'd like to be wrong about that, because that would be cool if you could do that. Right. So here's the fart section. Let's put a loop around it. We need a snap to bar on. Right. There and there. Something really miserable like that, you know? Like, because, hey Ed, thanks for joining us. In this section, what's happened is the song is in, well, the track is in C, but in this middle section, we're going to C minor. So it's quite a drastic sounding change. It drops in tempo. The sounds that I'm using for the synths change. Drum 8 is not being used until the latter part. It's silly fart noises at the moment from Blipbox. You know, it's quite a drastic change. And I'm thinking, like, just really miserable bends. And that's it. But the rest of the music really needs building up in this section. I need to look at that. And I'm thinking the next thing I'm going to do is add a choir. Just, there don't need to be many licks, just a few bits. Preferably ones that are in key. like that. So, let me see if I can get my ideas together. It's quite long, actually. And I'm wondering whether it should have guitar over the whole thing. Maybe because we've just had this section here where just restarting OBS Blade, it sort of, it only crashes about every 2.5 minutes. Because yes, we've got all this guitar going on here. So maybe when we drop into this weird middle section with the fart noises, maybe we don't have any guitar at all until about halfway through, and then some of these licks start to kick in. The miserable licks. So let me bring my loop. Not like that. Like this. To there. Change key for some reason. Oh, quite like that. If I play like that, I've only got time for 2 licks now. Something like that. What do you think? What do you think? Opinions welcome. Because I'm sort of thinking that this is going to be... I'm not going to use the same lead guitar sound for this. I'm thinking I'm going to try and achieve maybe sort of a distant sound with this lead. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm just going to check my tuning, and I'm going to put those licks down so I can sit back and have a listen. Be massively self-critical and fall out on myself. And what does he do? He plays something completely different from what he played before. Idiot. Right, now where am I coming in? Oh yeah, so I'm coming in, well I'm actually coming in there. So. That should work. I could make more of that bend actually. If I kind of maybe go like yeah, it wants something a little, just a little more. Just a little more. It sounded like we've got some hanging notes going on there. Very, very distracting to play over. Very distracting. No, I just want to have a listen to that. I don't think I'm going to be entirely happy with that, but... Could you stop? Would you mind? Honestly. All the apps misbehaving today. Oh! I accidentally pressed record. Right. Okay. I'm not satisfied enough to call that a finished lick for that section, but I'm going to leave it for now because it's along the lines that I want. It's all right as a sort of a placeholder for now. What I really need to do with this section is to build it up and add some more synthy goodness to this section. We definitely need that choir in there. I'm getting a little bit concerned. I'm suspecting with the few problems that I've had with various apps today. Let me just unarm this guitar. And I think I'm going to put this down. Yeah, with the various app problems that I've had today, I'm beginning to wonder whether it is a CPU problem. a DSP problem in Logic Pro. And sadly, I think it might be related to AB PitchPad X. So I'm thinking that what I might have to do very soon is just to commit that particular track to Real Audio. So that would basically mean mixing down Phase Monkey. Then I can take it out of the project. Take the pitch pad out of the project. I think that's going to be the best approach, because that way I can find out once I've taken it out of the project. Then, if everything works okay, then it must have been that. The CPU level is going higher than it normally does for me on this iPad, but there again, it's not, it doesn't appear to be massively high, but we are having problems, so there is something. So I do need to deal with that. Now, there's going to be more guitar stuff to do. I'm probably going to want another lead, so I'm probably going to let's have a look at this. Right, so this section here is basically the same drums wise as this section here, same synths and everything. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to have these same guitar parts over here, but maybe with a different lead, or a lead based on the one that I've already got, but slightly different. I'm certainly not going to copy it across. Maybe I'll go with basic, more or less the same line, a few little variations, and more harmonies, right? Maybe we'll have like a massive harmony section. Because when I released that last track, that Ghost in the Code, it's got a very, very simple guitar harmony part on it, and people really, really liked it. So that might be a cue to do a bit more of it. Yeah, but I'm not going to tackle any of that right now. Let's see, what time is it? It's 1:45. It's probably about time that I sort of started wrapping up, really. But just having a look at the project, here's another thing that we need to look at. So over here, I've got BA1 playing this bassy sort of a part, which I really, really like. Now that is taking care of the bass. It's taking care of the bass frequency, if you like, in this section. Then here it stops, but the guitars have not kicked in yet. I'm wondering whether maybe my bass guitar should come in here. Or whether BA1 should continue there. I can't get over that automation disappearing earlier. What? Has that happened to anyone else? Has anyone else experienced automation just disappearing from Logic Pro? It's bizarre. Really bizarre. I mean, I've screwed it up by accident myself loads of times by forgetting to take it off right and, leaving it on read, but, I don't know. I am taken aback. Right, so this section here. Just quickly, what would it be like in this section here if BA1 did continue here? I think what I need to do is see what that's like, and if that doesn't work, then that's where the bass guitar needs to come in. Which I might look at tomorrow. I need to think about that. Right, so while I think about that, let's just have a little go with this. So if I just look at Tal here, and we'll just have a look at the MIDI for Tal, for this sort of arpeggio bit. Right, okay. And my chords for this section. Yeah, okay. And the chords are changing. Right, yeah. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this bit across. So that... Yeah, if I just copy that up here, and then I can jump in okay, so it's D, B, right, so I can delete this section, this note, and then we want a C. That is a C, and we'll get rid of that note. And then we want an A. Right, okay. So I'm going to nick this. Use it as an A. Right. Why did I do that? Right, and then this section climbs D, E, F, G, right? So, take that off pencil. D, E, F, G. Alright, so I just need to get rid of these notes. And this one. Okay, and we'll make a bass line out of this. Right, now what octave is BA1 playing on here? If I just merge these two parts, bounce and join, then I'll be able to just go into the MIDI and see. Okay, right, so if I just kind of lasso around all of this, tap on a note, transpose, octave down, octave down, and then one more. Right, now let's play this section. Right, turn this sound up a bit. Kind of like that. I think that works, but why is it that that's so quiet there? Right, so BA1, I had the fader set about there, and in this section here, I thought it was loud enough. Let's have a listen. It was a bit quiet, but I can hear it now. All right. So that settles it then. So I like that. That works. I like that rhythm. It fits with the arpeggio and everything, so that's cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the bass guitar in where the guitars kick in here. Now, I thought this was an awesome idea, of having like the first part of the section just sounding like a sort of a synthwavey come cyberpunk type track, and then in like what I think of as being like the second verse, all the guitars kicking together, bass, rhythm parts, solo all together, like a real kind of kick in the balls. I'm not entirely sure it's going to work now, actually, but well, I can always move everything around and rearrange it. We'll see. I'm going to do it first, and we'll find out that way if it works. Right, so at this point, I have concerns about all the app problems, but I do have a way forward, a potential solution, or a way I'm going to deal with it anyway, and then we'll see what happens. I may do that this evening, and I'll let you know in tomorrow's stream how it went. And I'm not sure in tomorrow's stream whether I should tackle the bass guitar parts or whether I would be better building up this middle section with whatever, with whether to do that tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure. But there's quite a few sections of the song that need building up. There's more drums that need adding in places. There's more synths. There's the choir I keep banging on about. What choir does everybody use? What choir sounds does everybody prefer on iOS? I'll make that the last question for the chat for today before I sign off. I tend to use the Beathawk one. I just find it, I don't know, it just seems to work in everything. And, like iSymphonic's got some great choir sounds in it, but I just hate using the app. So what do we need? We're going to need these guitars again over here. We're going to need another solo here, potentially with lots of harmonies. Yeah. Might do the middle section tomorrow. We shall see. Right, well, anyway, I'm going to call it a day for today. Thank you very, very much for watching. I really, really appreciate the continued support. I know it's kind of like Song Tembe, it's kind of, it's a bit, it could be a bit much, I guess, when there's quite a few people creating online and streaming, and then everyone else is making their tracks, and, there's a lot going on, but that's great. I can't expect you to watch absolutely everything all of the time. I understand that. But I just think the community atmosphere of it is fantastic. People sending snippets of the tracks and putting them online and listening to the progress. And mentioning that, I have to say, once again, if I can be of any assistance to any of you whatsoever, any questions, any advice, just reach out. All the info is, if you're not on my Patreon, that is, if you are, you can get me on there. But if you want to reach out, all the information is down below this video. Different ways to contact the stupid old hippie. And as I mentioned earlier, I do have a couple of codes for AB Pitch Pad left to give away on Patreon. So if you're a patron, then give me a shout, right? If you're not a patron, join my Patreon account and I can send you a code. But do it fast. Right, so Matthias, did you get yours on Patreon? Did you get your code, sir? I've inboxed you on there with it. Right, so thank you very much. Thanks, Jade. Matthias, Kenora, thank you. I'm going to bugger off now, so I will later on. I'll advertise what I'm doing tomorrow, so look out for that. Thank you very much for watching. Be kind and be good people. Be wonderful and make lots of music, and try not to pissy pants about. I will see you later. He said, trying to cue up the track to play you out. Bye.